I've never actually asked you, Evan. Like, what do you think of the intro? Is it garbage? Like, do I need to change it? Evan has left.
That's what he thinks about your intro.
That's what I should get. Complete silence. What's up, guys, and welcome to the fourth episode of Podcast Reload. It's the general gaming podcast by Sifted.net subscribers, where we invite the community guests onto the show to talk about the games industry in all its glorious forms. I am your host, Vin Hill, and joining me as always is my co-host and fellow Japan dweller, Evan Piotrowski.
Hey, guys.
And joining us as well is, of course, our community guest, all the way from the east coast of America, is James Campbell.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Cool. And what was your username on Sifted, just so people have reference?
Obligatory Boss Battle is my name.
I like it how ambiguous that is. It's awesome.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, mine's boring as hell. Like, I kind of, because you've got the stand user, Evan, like, I kind of wish that I went for something a bit more epic, but it's just Vin Hill. That's it. It's super easy. But yeah, we haven't actually got any corrections this week, I don't think. So no fuck-ups. We're good. Like, we didn't screw anything up. I know, right? I'm surprised we haven't got like any epic sort of, you keep screwing up, you keep saying this, don't do this.
Yeah.
I bet people are thinking it.
Or maybe everybody on the site is just too dumb to notice, and we're all just like all blissfully unaware.
or they don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, they either don't care, they're too nice, or they're too dumb. Let's choose your flavor, Be whatever which one you want to be. But yeah, okay, let's move on. We've actually got a question for you, James, which we ask pretty much everyone every week, so listeners can sort of gauge what sort of game you are. The question is, you're stuck on a desert island. You can only take one game along with you with its corresponding console. What do you choose and why?
Okay, so after thinking long and hard about it, I would have to go with something that you can play a long time, right? Because you're going to be on...
Right.
No telling how long you're going to be stuck on that island, right? So
it does have internet connection, though. It does have internet connection.
It's true. Those Wi-Fi palm trees.
Yeah.
Although it took me forever to get the password from them. It's like, come on, guys, please. I mean, we're going to be neighbors for a long time here. I got to...
Coconuts. Coconuts 1, 2, 3.
With a 5 at the end instead of the S.
Yeah. Explanation mark.
Yeah. So I've got to go with Ark Survival Evolved because... me, you are stuck on a desert island in that game, except there's like dinosaurs everywhere. So I think along with like the absurd length you could play that game, just keep playing and playing and playing. I think it would be really cool to just all of a sudden like have everything sort of meld together. And it's like, where does the island begin in the game, man? Like totally. And then
I was going to say that'd be like a trippy like thing where your brain would sort of cross worlds at some point, right? You'd be just like, I don't know what the game, what is real. Yeah. But you're saying you actually want that. You want that.
Sure.
Blood.
I mean, eventually the fever dreams are going to start kicking in, and then I'm going to try to kill myself by throwing myself at like a giant Spino or something, and then it turns out it's just a tree, and then I've wasted my time. So, and then
it's like Don Quixote or something.
Oh, sure. And then. Jesus. And then the camera pulls back, and then there's this autistic kid looking at a snow globe, and then nothing mattered. So who knows?
Yeah, I would think that would just hit too close to home. You're just constantly reminded that you're stuck on a desert island, or like it's just I can't play a game that takes place in modern Japan for too long. It's just
I'm the same.
It gets a
like
bit
when
weird.
people say, "Oh, go play Persona" or whatever, like, and you're just running around like as like a high school kid. And when I was working in Japanese schools, I was just like, "Man, I do not want to come home and play this. I just don't want to do it."
No,
it's too much.
You can tell that school it's a public high school. Public high schools in Japan look exactly like they do at least in Persona 4. So it's a bit strange for me. Yeah.
It's crazy, like accurate. Like I've never finished that game, like because when I started playing it when I was still working in Japanese schools, that was the main reason. Because I'd come home, it's like I don't want to look at that shit. I'm so sick of them lockers. I just don't want to look at it.
It's like I'm living in a Twilight Zone episode.
But yeah, moving on. Evan, what are you playing? We're going to mix it up a little bit and ask, like from now on, like what are you guys actually playing?
So yesterday, 2 days ago, Friday, Twilight Princess finally came out for the Wii U in Japan a week after. I never owned a GameCube, and I briefly had a Wii that I got for free. So I just never got around to playing Twilight Princess, and I'm about 5 hours in, and I'm probably at the point where the game gets good, because I know a lot of people have complained that just the beginning of that game drags on. So I've just finished the first dungeon, and even with some of the goat herding and the fishing in the beginning of the game, I like it. It definitely is a Zelda game, and it looks really, really nice.
Is it holding up then? Like, I mean, not just like in terms of graphics, but like I know like games design itself, like that ages really badly. Like, how is that holding up still? Is it does it feel like a modern game still, or?
In some ways, yes. It's got your basic Zelda combat, Z targeting, and all you have to do is smash the button, and the guy will eventually die. That hasn't really changed. The camera in smaller spaces when you're in combat, it gets a little janky. It doesn't really know. It doesn't pull back enough, and you kind of get turned around a bit. But other than that, I would say the only other thing that bothers me is just the fact that like Link cannot jump on his own accord. There is no jump button.
Oh, for real? Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Jesus.
It hasn't changed since Ocarina of Time, and I really hope
old school mechanics.
Yeah, Zelda U, they give you a jump button at least. I don't know. Maybe they won't. Maybe they will. But in short, I'm enjoying it, and I'm gonna play it later today after we're done with this.
Cool. How about you, James? What are you playing right now?
Hi, my name is James. Hi, James. And I have a problem with Stardew Valley.
Can you really call that a problem, though? I mean,
well,
if it's disrupting your day, then maybe it's a problem.
I picked it up a couple of, I guess it was the beginning of this week, or maybe last weekend, like Saturday, I guess, maybe. But it just come out not too long ago, and I've already played it for 69 hours, which is a long time.
All right, yeah, that is a problem.
Yeah, okay, I take it back.
You need to start going to meetings and shit.
Yeah, I get my 1 week chip next week. I haven't even started getting it. I'm looking forward to it.
All about them goals, man. All about them goals.
So being 69 hours into the game, is there any indication of like how far you've progressed? Do you feel like you're reaching end game or halfway there? Or?
As far as I know, there's like the game is broken into days. And,
okay.
Right.
So you start the day off at like 6 a.m. and then if you don't get in bed by 12, you'll suffer an energy penalty the next day. But then if you don't get into bed by 2 o'clock, you collapse and then get taken to the hospital, and then you suffer like a gold penalty.
Christ. Red Bull DLC is on the way.
Yeah, but you're constantly planting crops and harvesting stuff, and
So like Harvest Moon, right?
Yeah. It's basically Harvest Moon,
Animal Crossing, whatever.
Yeah, and Animal Crossing, sort of folded in there. But there is...
Yeah, I am curious about it. I mean, the pixel art looks beautiful as well. Like, I looked at a few screenshots before we started, and it looks really nice.
Yeah, it's good. And, like, as you go along, you unlock newer stuff, and you earn more money, which you can then use to plant more crops or to unlock better equipment and all this other stuff. There's a combat element, like a dungeon sort of delving you can do to get supplies and equipment like that. But eventually, like... at the start of the third year, you could talk to your grandfather's ghost, and like he gives you a point value or something like that. But really, it's more of like a.
Gee, so wait, let me get this straight. So he comes back from the Nether, right? So he comes back from like the cloudy abyss. And he's like, "You got a C- on your farm. You suck," and then he disappears again. That's amazing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he comes back and tells you how much you suck at farming.
Something
great.
like that. But yeah, like it's really more of like an achievement game for if you're like more of a hardcore player. It's probably more like an achievement game where here's a set of stuff you can do, but a bit after that, it's just like, hey, this is kind of like a fun, sort of relaxing thing to play. It's really good when you're like listening to podcasts or something like that. Like this one, you could listen to Podcast Reloaded while playing Stardew Valley. How cool is that?
Yeah, do it. Everybody should do it.
Yeah, this game
fun game.
does
total time sink.
it does seem like something that I would really like. Like I watched some videos on it and read a bit about it. And for example, like in the beginning of the game, you have to like individually water each plant on your farm, but then later you can upgrade to sprinklers that automate the process. And I'm like, that has to be the greatest feeling. It's like finally getting the double jump in like a Castlevania game, right?
It's like getting a promotion at work or something, right?
Yeah.
It's like, finally, I don't have to do that anymore. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that type of upgrade would be, it's like the carrot on the end of the stick, right? I'm like, okay, I got the sprinklers, and then you just keep going and going and going, and I got to get the next thing. Yeah, I can see why you've poured so much time into it. It does look like a really awesome game.
Yeah, and then you get to the end, and you're in Trump Tower, and you're running for president.
Yeah. Like that game is sort of the quintessential example of one more turn game. It's like Civ 5 or something like that. It's one of those games where it's like, I'll just do one more day.
Right.
I can go to bed after this one more, because the game auto saves. You can't save the game, but it'll auto save after every day. So it's like, well, I got to play another day. Let's go. Let's do this. So yeah, it's a mess. I like get ready to get sucked in if that's your sort of.
So recommended from James.
Definitely.
All right, Vin, how about you? What have you been playing?
To be honest, I've put pretty much about 40 hours in the last 3 days into the Division.
Nice. I'm
playing the crap out of that game. I'm loving it so far. It's got its flaws, don't get me wrong, but it's a solid like 8 out of 10 game for me.
Okay.
But I'm really enjoying it. I mean, yeah, it's just scratching that sort of, like MMO sort of loot itch. A lot like Destiny did, but like a lot of people are like sort of comparing it to Destiny, but I wouldn't. It's probably got more differences than it has similarities,
Okay.
So it's tough, but it's one of them games like, because it's sort of like breaking into a new genre like Destiny did. It's the only thing you can really compare it to. So, but yeah, I'm loving it. It's got a great world. It's got a good atmosphere. I mean, I'm not getting too bored. I'm like 40 hours in. Level 25 out of 30. So yeah, I'm having balls of fun with it. It's awesome, and I'm playing it completely single.
Okay, sorry, yeah. That's what I was about to ask you. Do you play it single player? Or do you play it with other people, or just?
Yeah, I've lit the whole thing. Like I made it sort of like a self-test to myself to play it single player only as much as I can. Like I've been playing with a couple of guys at work, like at lunch break for like an hour, but primarily I've just been playing by myself just to see like how it holds up, and it holds up fine. Like it's absolutely great. But granted, it is way better with other people. Like I'd give it that. Like if you can play with other people, definitely take that option. But I'm enjoying it single player. Because I have to mainly because we live in Japan, and there's time differences and stuff. Like trying to get people online with a decent enough connection, it's really difficult. So, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think it's a good game so far. But
have you reached the? Oh, okay, I was just about to ask if you reached the end game there.
No, I haven't. I haven't finished the end game yet. But yeah, I'm sure things are going to get a lot more repetitive before I get there and stuff like that. But they've just threw a new faction of enemies at me, so that sort of mixes it up a little bit. So how it'll feel when I hit level 30 and I finish the last mission, I don't know. We'll have to see. But so far, I'm enjoying it.
That's kind of cool. You're 40 hours in, and you get a new faction of enemies to fight. That usually doesn't happen.
I'm playing it really slowly though. Like I go and do all like the crazy little side missions and stuff as well. If you literally just went through all the main missions, you could probably get through it all in about 12 hours maybe. But I'm literally combing the map and doing everything that I can.
Oh, you're one of those people, huh?
Oh yeah, it depends on the game.
Right,
I'm the same way.
Yeah,
it depends on the game. Like Assassin's Creed 4, like I did everything on that game.
Same here, I suppose. I did more in 4 than I did in 3 for Assassin's Creed.
4 was like the perfect game for me. Like, it's just, yeah, I love that game. Like 3 and Unity just don't even compare to 4 to me. We are going to move on into the small 3, which is basically the section of the podcast where we each take a topic that we want to talk about. It can be anything. It can be in current news. It can be a game that we like, game that we're really excited about. It can be absolutely anything industry-based. So in traditional fashion, we're going to have our guest kick us off. So James, do you want to talk about your small 3 topic of this week?
Yeah, let's do this. So why don't we, as a podcast and an audience, let's get the controversial one out of the way first, and then we can smell the lighter fare later.
That's smart.
So
Thin out the crowd. Let's do it.
So for my first appearance on Podcast Reloaded, my first topic is what I've entitled "The Scuttling of Tropes versus Women" and Kickstarter's caveat emptor.
That's an epic title.
Which means buyer beware in Latin, by the way. Anyway, so this week, Polygon came out with an article. If you're on Sifted, you can check it out. Basically, Anita Sarkeesian and Feminist Frequency have decided that by the end of 2016, they're going to finish. I'll believe it when I see it, but they're going to finish their Tropes versus Women series. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you'd like to be on the internet talking about video games and you don't know who Feminist Frequency is and that team, and
you are lucky. You are. I want to live your life.
Oh, you lucky few. So instead of so in lieu of Tropes versus Women, they decided that they're going to start a new series called Ordinary Women. They've started up a new crowdfunding campaign on Seed and Spark, which is a site I've never heard of, but apparently it launched back in 2012.
I'd never heard of it.
I hadn't either. But apparently there's like a Kickstarter sort of crowdfunding website for everything, and why we need one for everything, I don't know, but there it is. So they're asking for, now get this, they're asking for $200,000 to produce 5 episodes, one for each for a particular woman in history throughout antiquity and up to more modern times. Just basically about women who sort of buck the trend, I guess.
Wait. So, like, the original Kickstarter for Tropes versus Women, how much was that again? Like, the original sort of asking price?
They wanted $6,000 for.
So they gone from $6,000 to 200. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then how much did they actually get for Tropes versus Women in the end?
So after the internet had a collective cow about Trump's versus no.
Yeah, it's close enough.
I'm getting my controversies like mixed together here. We can talk about Trump later. But yeah, so after the internet had its collective cow about Tropes versus Women, the thing just exploded, and they got over $150,000, just dwarfing their original asking price. The problem is, and this is where a lot of criticism comes from for Anita Sarkeesian and Jonathan McIntosh, who is the writer of Tropes versus Women, or at least he was. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up, but one of their big criticisms is that they got this huge, just pile of money, like Scrooge McDuck money, like screw you money, and over 4 years later, or almost 4 years later, after completing their Kickstarter campaign, they still have yet to even produce half of the episodes of Tropes versus Women.
Yeah, I was looking at the other day, like how many videos, because they originally pitched that they were going to make 12 videos with that $6,000. That's what they were asking for. How many videos have they actually made so far? Do you know?
I think they were going to do like 12 episodes, each with its own topic, but then they wound up breaking down each topic into like 3 episodes. And so they've done like, I think 8. I could be wrong, but
okay. I'm looking at this what they titled as season 1 of Tropes versus Women, which would be 2013 to 2015. It looks like the Tropes videos they've done are Damsel in Distress Part 1, 2, and 3, then Miss Male Character, that's 4, Women as Background Decoration Parts 1 and 2, that's 6 videos. No, I'm sorry, that's 5. Women as Reward, which is 7, and then Women as Reward DLC mini episode, which is 8, and then they have 5 bonus videos for a total of 12 videos is what it looks like.
Yeah. Wait, that was in the original Kickstarter, or is that what is on their YouTube right now?
It says this is what we have done already.
Okay.
So, and then it looks like at least what they were aiming to do for 2016 is 8 videos. But it says titles are subject to change and that type of thing. I don't know how many of those videos they have done, if any, but it looks like they were scheduled at least to do 8 videos this year.
Well, going back to their original Kickstarter page, under the project description, they had Damsel in Distress was video number 1. The Fighting Fuck Toy would be video number 2. The Sexy Sidekick, number 3. The Sexy Villainess, video 4. Background Decoration, number 5. And then after their stretch goals, they added on Voodoo Priestess / Tribal Sorceress, Women as Reward, the Mrs. Male character, Unattractive Equals Evil character, Man with Boobs, and positive female characters. And then
they haven't even done half of their stuff.
No, they haven't. And then it's all completely out of order. So
yeah.
So basically, like a lot of criticism on top of like not being able to do what they said they were going to do with an absurd amount of money over their asking price, is that the videos are kind of ham-fisted or they're poorly like researched, and it's all kind of pseudo-intellectual kind of stuff. At least that's what I've come across and what I kind of feel about the videos myself.
Right.
But now, so, you know, they're sort of levying their popularity or their, what's the word I'm looking for?
Their zeitgeist. I don't know.
Their infamy, I should say. So instead of, so they've leveraged their popularity or infamy in the video game space into this new project where they're now asking for $200,000 to make 5 videos and throw them up on YouTube or something like that. I guess I don't like as somebody who's done some video editing and like kind of, you know, dip their toe
just
in
not
it.
Take that much. Like I've watched the Chose vs. Women series, and just the video quality of it isn't that, like, that shouldn't have been 150 grand's worth of video, which is fine. Like that's what they went asking for in the first place. They only asked for 6, and that probably would have covered it. Yeah, like camera equipment and lights, all that sort of stuff, like graphics designers. Like I get that, but 150 grand. But now that they're actually asking for 200 grand to produce 5 videos, if they're to the same quality that they are right now, then that's just doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense. Like, how many crew members have you got? Like, I know they've got like original artwork going into it and stuff that they have to pay, but I'm an artist myself. Like, I would not get paid 150 grand to do like 5 episodes of whatever. You know, it not to that fidelity anyway.
Yeah, in her defense, or in their defense, I should say, they are adding in like what looks like motion comics or something like that. But even then, it's just it's an absurd amount of money. And
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't, and judging by what they've done today, like money they've raised today, like I looked at, they were at like 30,000 some odd, like 30,300 something. And that was when I checked back this morning. I checked back when I got back on to record this podcast, which was like 10 hours later. They had gotten like a little over $1,000. So I kind of figured it's like, well, okay, if they keep that pace at like $100 an hour, they'll only make an additional like $60,000. But typical of crowdfunding campaigns, they kind of ramp up towards the end and at the beginning. So they might, like, even then though, it's like another 60,000, they'll hit like half of their goals. I don't even know if they're going to hit it.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, because all the people that throw money at it so far are probably like their followers, you know, like their hardcore followers, just like, yeah, okay, here's my money. But then after that, there's going to be a massive sort of drop off, and then it'll start ramping up again towards the end when they probably put out another video like, hey guys, it's almost over, we need your money, you know, sort of thing, like most campaigns do. And it'll be interesting to see if they actually hit it. Like, if they it's weird. Like, will that be like a big reflection upon them, like as a public sort of voice, say, hey, shut up, like if they don't hit it? But I don't know, that's a whole different story.
Like, who knows? Like the controversy surrounding the original Kickstarter was really what propelled it into like where they are now. Like, you have to think that was just a huge part of it. But now it's like, since they're not in that space anymore, it seems like they're more of like just an esoteric sort of video series they're doing. Yeah. Like, are they going to get that audience? Can they convert their audience now into backers for this campaign? I don't think so.
Yeah, well, I'll ask you guys. Like, I'll start off with you, Evan. Like, what do you actually think of, like, the whole feminist frequencies sort of like direction? Like, what do you actually think about it? Like, before we like start cutting apart their campaign or whatever.
Right. Are you saying in terms of just what I think about the actual product?
Yeah, the actual content. Like, what do you actually think of it? Like her vision or whatever, like Anita Sarkeesian's vision. Like, what, like the whole thing.
Well, regardless of how much production money was tied to like the quality of the videos, just in terms of content, as someone who kind of likes reading about and learning about the history of video games, I actually thought a lot of the content was interesting.
Yeah.
Going all the way back and just seeing how women had been portrayed in video games throughout the history of video games. I thought there was a lot of good content in some of those videos. So yeah, that portion of it I liked. It was a good history lesson to some extent.
Yeah.
But when you get some of these videos, like the damsel in distress video, which was the initial concept was one video, and then you stretch it out to 3. It's just one of those things where it's just the writing is badly edited, in that they just kind of keep beating you over the head with the same angle or the same idea. So, and I think one portion of that is just we're kind of hitting home how many examples there are of where women have been portrayed poorly for lack of a better word, poorly in the history of video games. But it just gets to a point where you can't just keep saying, okay, so there's this game where there was a sexist portrayal of a woman, and then there's this game and this game and this game and this game. Like, at some point you just have to...
It's like a check. It's like a bullet list almost. It's like, all right, we get it, but what's your point?
Yeah, if your point is just women have been portrayed as damsel in distress in video games, give us a handful of examples and then expand on that thing. I just don't like the idea of them just constantly giving us examples, but not giving us more than just that.
Right.
So
it's like there's less theory, but just more like, it's like having a massive sort of book list at the end of your essay saying, look, these are all our examples, but like they haven't written anything in the actual thesis or whatever.
Yeah.
That's sort of what it feels like, right?
And that kind of permeates through the entire series, I think, where there's a lot of good information in there, but they just needed to edit some of that down. So yeah. And as the series went on, you can kind of tell, like, their initial idea of what they wanted to do for $6,000, they kind of had to stretch that out.
Yeah.
Like literally with stretch goals. And there just wasn't enough content to how do you want to say, to make that $150,000 investment like legitimate. I don't know exactly what to say. It just eventually, for me, it got boring, and I kind of fell off. There's some good stuff in there, but for $150,000, and I didn't crowdfund it. I didn't put any money into it. I just watched it on YouTube. Right. I don't know. I could take it or leave it, really.
Yeah, for me, it's weird. I mean, I definitely support the idea of like making women more viable in video games and stuff. I have discussions about it like at work all the time with my colleagues and stuff. Like they should play an important role. We should have more main characters that are women. We should have less bad portrayals of women or whatever. But like, as much as I agree with all this, like I notice, like, and not even because like I work in games or whatever, like I just notice as a gamer, like stepping back, like all of this is changing anyway without this stuff, like this. Yeah. It's like we had an Assassin's Creed with a transgender person in it, like in the. I'm calling out Ubisoft games. I am not White Knight in it. I promise you. In the Division, there's. I know, right? If I can tell me about it, everyone's like, "Oh, fuck this guy." In the Division, there's a medic, like one of the female medics, like one of the main characters, basically. she mentions that she has a wife, and it's just like said in passing sort of comment, and you're like, oh, okay, she's gay, and like you don't even like whatever, you know. A lot of this stuff is already changing. So like when this series came out, and they were just beating you over the head with like old games as well, which really annoyed me. You know, oh, look at Lara Croft in the original Tomb Raider. Look at her tits and her ass everywhere, and it's like, dude, that was back in the 90s. Like you can't use that as an example anymore. You just can't. Like compare old Lara to new Lara, like it's changed drastically. Like her boob size are like quarter the size, you know, like she's not wearing hot pants anymore, you know, like it's changing. But she uses examples from games and design aesthetics from games from years ago. And it's like we don't actually do that anymore. That's like commenting on like the voting system today and say, well, 50 years ago blah 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 wasn't allowed to vote, so you know, fuck these guys. And it's like, what? Like you can't like look at it now, you can't look at it in the past. That's the way I feel about it. But you know, but how about you, James? How do you feel about the whole thing?
Well, I'll try to summarize what I feel about the series in a few points, I guess. Like well, first off, as good as some of the information is, to go back to Evan's point, like a lot of it is so cherry picked and sort of laser focused on the negatives of games that she completely leaves off the table the positive portrayals of a lot of women. So it just kind of blows her own argument out of the water. It's like if you are arguing, if you're trying to set up a debate of some sort or a discussion of some sort of important topic like this, and you ignore the other side, you ignore the things that might sort of circumvent your point, you damage your own argument. And a lot of people have poked holes in their stuff by doing that. Gosh,
say like going back on that point, I mean, the biggest thing that always annoyed me about this whole movement that happened like over the last few years with not just with Sarkeesian, but with like feminists in general, like when it comes to video games, it's like all these things that they're saying about women, like a lot, and I mean a lot, like a good 80% of it also happens like in the portrayal of men within these situations.
Yeah.
And they never mention, like no one ever talks about that. Like, oh, look at this woman, she looks so defenseless. It's like, all right, what about this, like this triangle-shaped buff dude, like Kratos? Like you don't get like boys crying in their bedrooms like, oh, I'm not like Kratos, why haven't I got muscles? And it's like, all right, I get it, like it's a valid point, but this also happens in men, so it's sort of an invalid point, like it sort of balances it out. Well, but if they mentioned it, then I'd be like, okay, cool, I get that. Like boys might cry in their bedrooms because they're not shaped like Kratos or whatever.
But, and then another
no counter argument.
Yeah, like another point is that if you look at like her original rundown that we went over a little while ago, like she just takes like every like trope, if you want to use that word, or cliche, which would be probably the better word if we're going to talk about negative, like overused story plot hooks and stuff like that. Anyway, like she has all these different topics and stuff like that. It's like it's like you've taken a box that you like any character you can come up with fits in this box. You just took that whole box and dumped it out. It's like, all right, we're gonna do a video on every one of these. It's like every female character in video games could probably fit in any of those categories. And it's just like this solves nothing.
Yeah, it's like every single episode Anita Sarkeesian has to bring up Lara Croft. Every single episode. It's like, all right, we get it. Like, she's a sexual object. We understand.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for like, just going back a little bit, when you talk about history, there's something to be said about talking about the 90s, like these were problems in the 90s. But
not so much now.
But it's one of those things that you just point everything out, but then you don't really talk about a different angle other than just strictly pointing it out. Which, like James says, it doesn't necessarily help anyone. And I think just my biggest problem with some of the stuff is just the editing. Like, I get what they're going for, but some of the stuff just needs to be cut down. Or, like James said, like you can't with an argument. You have a thesis, you have an argument, you have a main point you're trying to speak for, a spearhead, but you also need to get out of that filter bubble and look at the problem or the solutions from different angles and not just keep reinforcing everything you're talking about, which it just kind of seems like that's what the that's what the show did.
So I guess like in closing, I mean, we've been talking this for a few minutes now, but like in closing, like a lot of people are now looking back at this and how it's finally going to end, and just sort of saying like how are they going to even finish this in time and all this other stuff. And the subject of crowdfunding, like video games or anything in that space, keeps coming up, and the idea that maybe if you're going to kickstart something, it might not ever see the light of day, you know. Yeah. And I think it's just like if you're somebody who's going to kickstart, just be aware. The same thing with like pre-ordering a game on Steam or something like that, like a early access game or something like that.
Yeah, go watch games, like go watch Tropes versus Women or whatever, like in games, and just understand like they haven't even produced half of the content. So if you are going to crowdfund this like, for your beliefs, that's totally cool. Like we get that, but
yeah, it's your money.
Yeah, look at the past projects. You know, like look at her track record.
Well, especially where some of that money potentially has gone, and judging from how popular she has become, and going around the country and speaking, at universities and other places and asking $20,000 a pop, like you think
she wouldn't need crowdfunding.
Asking for that much money. And although I do understand the idea, like in terms of they're a nonprofit, right? Is that what they are?
Yeah. Supposedly,
They're trying to expand the scope of feminist frequency. So just in this new project, they're like, look, we're in a studio now where we have a professional production crew. We're paying them professional wages. So I understand the idea. Like we're trying to expand this feminist frequency scope, and so we're trying to up the scale, and it's going to cost more money. But I don't know. I guess if I don't agree with it, I don't have to give them any money. So that's one thing, right?
I think Ben said it. It was that it's like if you're successful in some way, and you're like Feminist Frequency, and you're going to all these places getting money for speaking fees and stuff like that, and then Intel's giving you grant money and all grant money from this organization, this, that, and the other. It's like, why do you need your own money? It's the same thing. Like, why is Tim Schafer crowdfunding Psychonauts 2?
I was about to use that as an example. Like, it annoyed. Like, I love Double Fine, but Jesus Christ, like every single game you're crowdfunding. I mean, come on, Tim, you've definitely got some money somewhere now.
Yeah,
son. Like,
you're running a business. You're running a business. Why are your profits not covering your expenses? And why are we now the ones who could have to sort of like fill that role? So buyer beware, guys.
All right, let's move into our second topic with you, Evan. So do you want to talk about your topic for this week?
So my topic of the week is what is my topic? Here we go. Sorry. All right. My topic of the week is trophies / achievements, depending on what system you have. What we like and what we want to change about them. And so, basically just much like a legal document, I'm going to refer to these in-game awards as trophies for the remainder of the talk, just because I play on PlayStation. So when I say trophies, I mean Steam achievements, Xbox achievements, just across the board.
Oh, right.
Same
God.
thing.
Bud Light after spokespeople.
I'm sorry.
How much is Sony paying you, Evan, to say this? What? How dare you? How dare you?
You must
hate Xbox One.
Sell out.
Yeah, so basically, like it's basically just an in-game award you get for meeting specific criteria, right? Like completing a game on a set difficulty or pulling off 50 headshots with a pistol. Both can be categorized as some sort of milestone in the game. And personally, for me, I think there's a lot to like about trophies. I have three main things that I think are pluses, and I guess I'll just name them off, and then we can open the floor before we go into what we think should change about them. I would say the good things about trophies are they extend the life of the game.
Definitely.
Yeah, and they prove your skill as a player, and that's totally like if you even care about stuff like that. And the other one is it's kind of just a documentation of your in-game achievements, and that info becomes part of your gaming profile, right? Your history. And I think that's important just because, in 10 years, I don't even know if you want to, but you might be able to look back and see exactly what you did in a game if that's your thing, right? Let's go back in terms of extending the life of the game. Back in the day, we had your classic New Game Plus. and the first thing I think about is Chrono Trigger, right? Like,
Yeah.
lots of JRPGs, those games are so long, and I just remember beating that game and just realizing, wait a minute, I can start a new game with everything I have now. It's essentially like the God mode power fantasy. Like, I can play the game again, but just destroy everyone, and maybe even actually get to level 99, which is something that, you know, I really did in JRPGs because I only grinded when I needed to.
Yeah, it just took too long. And most of the time you didn't need to either. I mean,
Right.
Jesus. I think you could complete Final Fantasy 9 on like level 30 or something. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I actually just finished playing that on mobile like a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, and it was like one of the achievements, and we can get into this later, but one of the it's like it has a terrible achievement where it's like kill 10,000 enemies.
What?
I'm like, what?
Get out of here.
Yeah.
And it's a tiered achievement. There's one for killing 500 enemies, 1,000 enemies,
And then 10,000.
10,000
Jesus
enemies.
Christ.
I beat the game and I didn't even get the 1,000 enemies.
Yeah.
I was like, nope.
Yeah, so that's something I actually do want to talk about a little later, arbitrary trophies. But yeah, also like look at Uncharted 2. At the end of that game, you can actually, all these points that you accumulated over the course of the game, you can go back and use to like basically unlock mods. So like, whereas with Uncharted 2, I might have just put the game down, but it's like, wait a minute, I can play as a skeleton with glowing red eyes and have like a golden pistol and then turn off gravity. Like that alone is enough for me to replay the game. Whereas with Uncharted 3, they totally took all of that stuff out. So when I beat 3, I'm not a multiplayer guy. I was done with the game. I was so disappointed that they didn't include that stuff.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
But kind of move.
I think I think a lot more games need to incorporate that style of achievement. Like going back to Stardew Valley, even though it's like a small minor thing, every achievement you get in that game unlocks like a hat you can buy for your character. And even just like that little bit of thing is like, ooh, I just got this cool achievement. I wonder what kind of cool hat. Like I got an eye patch. I unlocked an eye patch. I was like, yeah, I'm wearing an eye patch. I now have a tuxedo and an eye patch on.
Sure.
So
yeah.
It's like best game ever. Like more games need to have that sort of incentive to do achievements.
Metal Gear Solid
just
did
tied
that as
into
well,
the game
right?
some way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends. I mean, they need to definitely have some sort of reward system for trophies, because right now, like, it's all good. Like, if you're playing like a game and the little box pops are like diddling, you're like, oh, cool, yeah, and it makes you feel good. You're like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. Like, I'm cool, whatever. But like after that, it doesn't really extend. It doesn't really go past that, and I think a lot more games should be doing that. Like Uncharted is a great example where you unlock like the concept art galleries, you unlock the like the making of videos on like the original PS3 version. Oh, they were awesome. I love that stuff. And if they were like physically attached to achievements, like, okay, you unlock this, go and watch this, or you unlock this, you got some concept art, you got like a new theme for your PlayStation or whatever. There should be a lot more stuff like that, especially if you get a platinum trophy or if you max the game out.
Right.
It's like, why don't you get anything for that? Like, oh, you played this game for 300 hours when it's only about 20 hours long. Here's a little silver trophy. It's like, yeah, you feel good about it, but at the same time, it'd be cool if you got, I don't know, like an exclusive theme for your console or something, right?
Right. Okay, so actually we should just kind of jump into that conversation. So yeah, we kind of talked about like, yeah, it extends the life of your game. Awesome. It proves your skill if that's something you want to do. And then it documents your in-game achievements, right? So those are the good things. And I think, yeah, Vin, you're bringing up some good points. So let's just first, how do you guys feel about trophies? Like, what do you care about them, or have you kind of moved away from like bothering to notice them, or try for a certain trophy or a platinum?
Like back in the day, if you wanted to sort of challenge yourself in a game, you just sort of had to set your own arbitrary sort of like milestones. And that's sort of how like the whole speedrunning community came about. Like,
oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Like you look at a game like Super Metroid where you get like a little percentage at the end of the game, that was sort of like one of the first like a proto achievement, right? It's like, oh,
sure,
I did 100%. I must have missed that missile tank on the Planet Zeus or whatever. So yeah, like back in the day, it's like you didn't have these things to sort of tell people. It's like, oh, I did that thing. I got the 1,000 headshots, or I won 10,000 matches of capture the flag in Halo or something or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, just being able to chronicle your stuff, that's something great about achievements, and just having something to play towards. Like some games are kind of boring, but in having that extra little bit of something to sort of get your juices flowing and just to get you focused on doing something, right?
Right. A bit of a carrot on the end of the stick.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, Vin, how do you feel?
I think they're great. They definitely do extend the life of a game. I mean, I was about to refer to best achievement I ever got was from Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. And it was doing the Mile High Club level on Veteran. And it's like literally you have to get through this level in 30 seconds. And it is nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible. And very few people I know have actually got it. And it was the last achievement I actually needed to max the game out. And I was just playing it. And like this 30-second level for literally 2 days straight. And when I finally got it, like it was like one of the happiest moments of my ridiculous little life, I'm just like, yes, finally, it was, and then like after I got it, I was like, fuck, what just happened?
Right.
But without that, I wouldn't have got them 2 days of play, and I wouldn't have got that great sense of achievement. But otherwise, I would have just played through that level in normal. I'm like, oh, that was fun, and then moved on. Yeah. But because
really
they added
cool,
that 2 days, like that's a really great thing, And it's like you were saying, it creates them, like when we were a lot younger, we had to make these games up, Like I remember playing the original Halo on Xbox with my friend, and we were playing a game where we were both stood on Blood Gulch, like stood like 400 meters away from each other, just arcing grenades at each other. It's like, okay, you're not allowed to move, and see who can get like the first kill on each other. I like making them stupid little games. Like I do miss that sort of stuff, but this sort of does that for you, this system. Like it says, hey, if you're really good, you should try this. And it's like, all right, yeah, I feel pretty good. Let's do this.
Right.
So like it makes you play the game more, like over and over. Like Uncharted, like I probably would have never played that game for the second time if it didn't have achievements or these unlocks,
Yeah, it is great. And it's like, if you truly want to say that you did everything in a game, like not only can you do it, but you basically have like a certificate that proves that you did,
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's definitely awesome.
Bragging rights, as they say.
Okay, so we all kind of agree that trophies and achievements are kind of this cool thing. There's a lot to like about them, but
definitely,
and I like them as well. But I think there's a lot of things that I don't like, and things that I think should change. Now, the first thing I want to bring up is inconsistency. So, for example, in games like the 2013 Tomb Raider and also Red Dead Redemption, you can 100% complete the single player. You don't get the platinum for those.
Oh, right. So like in game, it says, okay, you've done everything 100%.
Right.
But externally, like on the system, it says, you've only got 80% of the trophies or whatever.
Right. And I don't remember for Red Dead Redemption, but the Tomb Raider ones, some of the extra trophies were tied to multiplayer.
They're the worst.
Yeah. And so then you have it the other way as well, where I just recently platinumed Far Cry 4. But I didn't 100% the game. I was like 65% done with the game. And
doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. So.
Wait, what?
Okay. So one thing I think should change is actually the whole idea of 100%ing Far Cry 4, but not getting, the whole idea of platinuming Far Cry 4, but not getting 100% of the game is kind of a good thing in that I think it can show developers how to balance out what should constitute like completely finishing a game. Why does the platinum come before 100% of the game? Well, for example, in Far Cry 4, it's like, well, to get a trophy, you need to tear down like 50 propaganda posters. But in the game, there's 150 propaganda posters, or you need to destroy 15 masks. But in the game, there's like 30 masks.
I can see why they do that, though. I mean, if they're trying to scratch that itch, they're trying to get you to start doing that stuff so you can progress and get the 100% within the game.
Right.
But they're saying, hey, here's 50. Like, if you destroy 50 propaganda posters and you get this achievement, then by the time they got 50, they're like, oh, there's 150. I might as well carry on. So maybe it's to promote that. I don't know.
Possibly. But what I think it's, well, if I only need 50, if whoever's making those trophies, if they look at how many propaganda posters there are in the game, and they're like, whoa, dude, you only really need to take down 50 of these. That's kind of telling them, well, you should probably scale. There should only be 50 trophies or 50 propaganda posters.
Right, that's a good point.
If you're saying I only need that many, just scale it back a bit, right?
Yeah, it's like they're recognizing their own flaws in their games, but not doing anything about it, sort of thing. You mean?
Right. If they think it's crazy to have to tear down 150 propaganda posters, then maybe there should only be about 50. So for example, with Tomb Raider 2013, it's like I 100%ed the single player. I'm like, all right, let me attack this platinum. It's like, oh, there's some multiplayer stuff. It's like, get to level 60. It's like, are you kidding me? There's no way I'm going to do that. So I actually,
this multiplayer game nobody plays anymore.
yeah, and I get the idea of like possibly the developers kind of trying to nudge people into a section of the game that they might have never tried before. Like me, I don't play multiplayer in these single player experiences, and they might be saying, look, give you an incentive to try it out. Maybe you end up liking it, but more often than not, you might be forced into signing up for some proprietary digital service, right? Which there should be a separate platinum for single player and multiplayer.
I was about to say this. There's a lot of them in the sort of PlayStation sort of ecosystem, where like you're playing the single player. Like if you go and look at the trophy list, they've actually got it now in the PlayStation Network where you can have multiple lists within one game.
Right.
And there's like a platinum for the main one, which is all single player, and then they can potentially split it up and then put all the multiplayer ones into another one. Yeah, they started doing that, so I think that's a good way forward, at least.
But I don't think you can get 2 platinums for a single game, right?
No, you can't.
And some people might say, like, oh, that'll make it too easy to get platinums. But, well, if you have like a PS3, a PS4, and a PS Vita, and you platinum one of those, you get 3 platinums for that.
Yeah.
So that's easy, right? Then why can't you? If I have to reach level 60 in Tomb Raider, okay, well, why don't I get a platinum for 100%ing the single player and then give me that extra carrot on the stick for multiplayer? I don't.
Yeah, I've always commended Activision for this. When it came to the Call of Duty series for years and years and years, I'm pretty sure it still is. I'm not too sure though. Like all the way up until at least Black Ops 2 anyway. Every achievement that they put onto the Call of Duty games was always single player every single time, especially with them being a multiplayer only focused game. So
right.
Yeah.
And I think what we're talking about now is not necessarily inconsistency, but more of kind of like a locked content type thing. Like, just platinums tied to multiplayer trophies. I do not agree with that. I think they should be separate.
Developers, if you're listening, don't do it. Like, it annoys the crap out of people. Even people that play the multiplayer games. Like, if they say, if you're playing a Battlefield game, it's like, oh, kill 50 dudes with a shotgun, and you hate shotguns. Like, that sucks. Like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. Or I need to sign up for a proprietary service to get a weapon and then use that weapon to kill 10 guys to get a trophy. You're locking a trophy behind a proprietary service, which I understand, like weapons and skins that are not locked to trophies. That's fine because I don't have to use them. I don't have to sign up for the proprietary service in order to lock the trophy. But if I'm someone who really likes to get your 1,000 achievement points or trophies, like I don't think they should be able to hide trophies behind signing up for an extra thing when I already, I do not agree with that. I think trophies should not in any way be contingent on signing up for any extra service. And this is a personal thing. Some games that I think should have a platinum don't, like Journey.
Right.
But then
that annoys the crap out of me.
But then a game like Life is Strange, where all you have to do is play the game and take like a certain amount of pictures, that's the easiest platinum I've ever got. How does Journey not have a platinum when one of the trophies is I have to by chance play most of that game with the exact same partner from start to finish? That wasn't easy for me, especially since I played the game like 3 years later.
I got that one. I got that one totally by accident, and even then, because there's no incentive really. If there's no platinum for the game, quote unquote, then it's like, what is the point in trying to get the achievements? Like if you can't max it out.
Yeah, you know? I mean, I understand they don't.
It's totally counterintuitive.
Well, that's a weird thing too, though. Like some people, I don't understand how you choose whether or not to have a platinum. They think some. I don't. Do they think like it's like this cookie that they can't give to everyone, because if everyone has a platinum, then it cheapens the experience. I mean, I think that should be a game by game basis, which it kind of is. But yeah, that's the last thing. But yeah, I think we've all talked about some really good ways that they could change them, monitor that. So yeah, the good and the bad. I like them. I think we all like them, and hopefully they evolve over time to do some of the things we've recognized as needing to change.
Yeah. Speaking of changes, we're going to move into our third topic now, which is my topic. And I sort of just want to talk about like where are video games actually going in the future? Like not just achievements, but like actual consoles and stuff. And I sort of like wanted to put a number on it and say, okay, like 15 to 20 years in the future, like where are we going to be like in video games? Like, will we still have consoles? Are we still going to have, physical discs? Or we like what are the major changes which we sort of not like bold predictions or anything like that. We're not like we're no Michael Pactors by any stretch of the imagination, I'm sure. But like sort of not what we want to see like right away, but what do you think is probably going to happen, like even if we want to see it or not? And we'll sort of kick this off with you, James. Like, where do you think like we're going to be with the games industry in 15 to 20 years?
Well, first off, I don't think you're going to see dedicated video game stores anymore, like GameStop and Game and all these other places.
Oh yeah, 5 years they'll be gone.
Yeah,
5.
I think you'll still have like your resale, like your niche resale market, sort of like stalls and stuff like that. I think those aren't going to go away because people are still going to want to collect. Like that's never going to change. So as long as you still have physical copies, that's still going to be a reality. But I don't think you're going to have a dedicated. You're going to have to go like to a big box store or something like that to get your physical games. And then I think attached to that, the reason why that's going to happen is because I think digital only future is coming, and I think you saw like Microsoft really stumble and fall trying to push this idea, but I think it's still going to be a reality at some point where we're not going to buy a disc anymore. We're going to have either buy via cloud computing or just bigger and bigger hard drives. We're going to have everything digital, and I already do that. I don't play console games very much. I have a 2DS, but I rarely buy games for that. I mainly play games on Steam and get stuff off of GOG and play stuff on my phone.
Yeah, I mean, I made the digital switch when I moved to Japan just because it's easier and to have access to English language games as well. Like digital is just the best way to go for me personally, and I've never regretted it. Like not a single moment. I've never sat and thought, oh man, I wish I had that box without the instructions inside it. It's just like we haven't even got instruction books anymore. It sucks.
You know what I really need? Another like Xbox gym case. Like I can choose another one. I've run out of coasters. I need to.
Yeah, it's like when I moved to Japan, I brought all my PlayStation 3 games with me. I didn't bring. Well, I brought the discs from all my 360 games, but I brought like all the boxes from my PS3 games because the PS3 is region free, unlike the Xbox 360.
Right.
So I brought all the boxes with me, and they're all on my shelf. And I still look at them from time to time. I'm like, I've probably played 2 of them since I moved here. Why do I have them boxes? Like it's totally like if I could have bought them in digital, I would have rebought them, just out of pure convenience, like space wise. But obviously, not everyone in the world is living in Japan. Like, what about you, Evan? Like, how do you feel about box copies? Because you live in Japan,
right? And I actually bought my PlayStation 3 in Japan. I got like 2009 maybe was the first time I had bought a PlayStation 3, and I had played. Was it Xbox 360 with my brother like for years before that, but when I first bought it, I was buying games, go to the traditional brick and mortar store, buy games, but then when what changed it for me was signing up for PlayStation Plus.
Right.
And when I did that, it was almost cold turkey. I went almost from then on full digital, and I haven't looked back since. Yeah, it's digital all the way for me. It's just so convenient and it's so much cheaper, especially in Japan. Like all these sales, like obviously I buy all of my stuff on my US account, because the Japanese account, they don't really have the same sales or the same deals.
No, they don't.
Oh, it's real. It's night and day. It's actually pretty ridiculous.
But, yeah, it's not even close.
Yeah, but it's like if I can pick up, Watch Dogs for $6 on a sale, or what else did I recently pick up? Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker for $5 from the comfort of my home and just, download it in an hour, whatever it takes on PlayStation 4 at this point. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'll do that all the way. And I have all my games on my system. I don't have to go into the bedroom and go on the bookshelf and, check out what games I have in the box and that, which, I mean, that's me just being lazy, but
yeah. So you're okay with like a digital only future sort of thing, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah, I haven't really touched an actual disc on my PlayStation 3, and I don't even know how long.
A disc has never entered my PS4 in 2 years.
Really?
Never.
Wow.
Yeah, not even a DVD or like I don't like that drive might not even work. I don't even know. Everyone just downloads
sort of Luddite or Philistine. Or...
Sorry.
So what else do you think is going to happen, James? Like other than that?
All right, I think to go along with it, all digital future, I think we're going to get to the point where we're always connected, and like regardless of whether we can afford it or not, like it's going to be a thing. Like you saw, like I'll go back to the sort of Xbox One announcement and that whole fiasco, like where people were like, well, what about people who don't have internet access? It's like people have enough money to drop on a new console and they don't have internet connection. It feels like
bullshit. I hated that argument. People like, what about guys in submarines? It's like they shouldn't be playing consoles. They should be defending their country. Jesus, that's why.
There's a
like
time
even
and a
then they
place.
still have even though they still have something sort of like anyway. Like that that demographic not being served is not going to hurt anybody that much. But anyway, like I digress. I think like that always on. It's eventually there's going to be hardly anywhere in the world that is fairly modernized that you're not going to have some sort of internet connection at some point. And it says here on the show notes you also have VR. To me, I'm one of your tactile sort of controller in my hands or mouse and keyboard kind of guys where it's like seeing what happened with motion controls and how quickly like that trend just sort of dropped off after about 5 years until we get to the point where you have like a neural interface that can just control the game with your brain. We're always going to need to have that physical thing. So I think VR is going to be sorely limited, but I think eventually we'll get to that point where if you can control the game with your brain, sure, I'm all for it. But
yeah, when it comes to VR, I'm kind of thinking, like, I don't think this is going to happen in the next 20 years, but like within the next 50 years, definitely, we're probably going to have just flat glasses, just at least, where we put them on our head and it's like 10K video or whatever. And I don't even think, I'm not even talking about in the sense where, you're looking around and it's like in virtual reality. Like I'd honestly just use the glasses as a TV screen, just like it's sort of like augment reality, like onto your wall or whatever. And it's like, okay, now you've got a 50-inch TV without buying a 50-inch TV. You just got these glasses and you can change it, whatever. It's probably going to get to that point where we're not even going to have TVs anymore, Like, I know that's way out there, but it's a complete possibility, especially if they are just like a set of glasses which don't actually affect you. And if you can get like prescription VR or whatever, can you even imagine that? Like, it's crazy. Like, we're all just going to live in these white houses without furniture. Everything's on the walls, like Facebook's on your living room wall, Twitter's like above the mantelpiece or whatever,
Yeah, like everyone just has one of the walls in their living room is just like a white wall, right?
Yeah, and like if your friend walks in, he's got his VR glasses on or whatever, it's just like it automatically hooks up to his system. It's just like, oh yeah, I can see everything that he sees, and it's no detriment. Like it's all seamless. That's a definite possibility. Like if that will happen, like I don't know. Like I don't know how. Although that could even like take it even further to like 80 years, and everyone's wearing contact lenses, or even further than that, than neural.
Yeah,
it's crazy like where it could go with VR. But anyway, yeah, sorry, that went down a wormhole.
No, that's a cool concept. Yeah, glasses.
I would definitely do that though. Like right now, when I look at VR, like people are saying that's just the beginning. It sort of really is. Like I'm not even that interested in like the head tracking VR, like totally immersed. I'm more interested in like the augmented stuff. I'm way more interested.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. what do you guys think about like graphical sort of fidelity? Like, do you think we're going to hit this? Because right now, like when it comes to games development, where we have to employ more people to get a higher level of graphics, but games are still costing the same, right?
Yeah.
So do you think there's going to be like this economical sort of imbalance where graphics are just going to get to a certain point where they just stop because it's too expensive to make them for the profit that they're getting back from it, if you know what I mean?
I think we're sort of there already. Like,
yeah, I kind of feel like it's slowing down.
Like on Steam, I play a lot of indie games. I play a lot of I play some AAA stuff, but it's like, to me, it's just not a big deal anymore. So it's like, does it look good? Is it aesthetically pleasing? I don't need Nathan Drake. I don't need his areolas
or whatever,
like popping out at me.
Yeah.
I don't need like there's a line there, and I don't need to cross it because it's like, this is good enough. Like, I can play a game like Bastion or something that looks just gorgeous and sounds great and it pops right. I don't need you can keep you keep all this, but like I like the sort of Blizzard sort of take on graphics and fidelity and sort of like
stylized over the
like, and how like they're sort of like part of their philosophy in game design is that we don't need to push like the envelope graphically. We want to make a game that, business wise, we want to sell as many copies as we can, so it behooves us to release something that more people can play. So we're gonna make a game that even my crappy 5-year-old budget computer can run. Like, I can still play. I was lucky enough to get in like a weekend beta for Overwatch, like their new big like first person shooter, and it's all pretty and stuff. But like, I just turn all the graphics settings down. I can still kind of play it. It's not as, it might not be as good looking. Everything's kind of jagged looking, but
there's something to be said for that. I think like in 10, 20 years, like every single device is going to be able to play this sort of stuff. I mean, we're sort of hitting that point now where like my iPhone 6 can pretty much bang out full like 720p graphics of a video game. And that's insane. Like the fact that I can play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on my phone without any lag is just insane to me, Like, take that even further. Like, are we going to be streaming like AAA games from our phones to our TVs like in 5 years or something?
Right.
Like, I don't know, right?
Well, and just look at some of the games that are on iOS. Like, in terms of graphical fidelity, a lot of those games aren't anything to write home about, And also, James, it's like, well, I could play Overwatch or I could play Stardew Valley, which 69, it's almost 70 hours in. When you talk about graphical fidelity, sometimes it's like you see a lot of people pulling back, kind of have this this renaissance of like even like low res PlayStation, or PlayStation 1 graphics. Like some of that stuff is kind of coming back as well.
I was just about to say, I've started seeing a lot of indie games that are sort of like, the whole industry is going through this weird, overlap again. We've hit the point where AAA graphics were too much, to the point that these smaller studios, like these like guys like just working out their bedrooms and stuff, have just started making like 90s style games, and now they're starting to hit like that PS1 era again. Like, our indie games going to reach like the graphical fidelity of like what we've got right now in 10 years time, to the point that it has to all reset again. It's just weird sort of cycle that we're all going through, and no one's really like addressed that. Like, I don't think it's a tangible thing. I don't think it has to be quote unquote addressed,
right?
But it's just interesting. It's really strange.
Like the profit margins for a game like Binding of Isaac, which is a game I picked up on a lark a few years ago when it first came out. I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. It's kind of like Zelda, but you're a naked baby. It's like the profit, like that game is so low key, so lo-fi. But like you just think it's like, oh, this sold for like $5. They sold a buttload of copies. Like these small indie teams are making these sort of retro games, and they're making a ton of money because it's like, look at our small team, look at our 1 or 2 people team. Just these small teams, they're putting out a game, selling it for $15, and they're making a killing. Whereas, they're becoming millionaires. Whereas guys like Vin, who are working at a big budget studio, are maybe taking home, $50,000 or what have you, like a standard sort of job,
right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like the whole salary versus like actual selling of the product. Like if the money was split between the actual team, like at the minute I'm working on South Park, like if we were split like all the money from like the actual profits from that game, like we'd be like millionaires, you know? But that's not how it is. Like it's corporation, they have to make money to support like the bigger web and stuff. Like we get that, but it's different worlds, as you say. It's night and day.
Well, what about a game like Grow Home then? That game was a hit, I suppose.
Yeah, that hits on a big point when it comes to quote unquote indie games, because Grow Home is considered, like when people look at it, it's like, oh, it's a cute little indie game, but it's not. It's published by Ubisoft.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's funded by Ubisoft as well. But there's a lot of games like that. The whole idea of what an indie game is anymore is completely blurred. Like if it's published and it was funded, it is not an indie game.
Right, right. But I think that's cool. Like you have Ubisoft making, you know, Assassin's Creed games and like Far Cry's and all your really AAA big budget games. But then maybe this is something that will happen in the future where you have these big companies making these kind of smaller projects. And it seemed like, judging from what people thought about Grow Home, it was well reviewed. People hold that game, you know, it's just short, awesome, very beautiful, like, you know, cute experience.
Yeah, I think, as I said, I don't think the indie scene is going anywhere. I think it's definitely going to go through its time lapses. So in 15, 20 years, it'd still be around. I think people are still going to be making pixel games, you know? But it's all interesting.
I like where video games are right now. You know, like we like to look to the future. We like to speculate, and it's like, oh, what's the new console going to look like? What's this, that, and the other? But like to me, it's just like, wow, I have a 5-year-old PC. It was bought on a budget. It was a gift, but like I'm still able to keep up and play a ton of cool, awesome games, and even some brand new AAA stuff. And it's just like we're in such a great segment of the industry right now, and it's just
we are. I have to agree with that. I mean, just looking at this year alone, we've got so many great games coming out. And we've got a new platform launch, and we've got VR, we've got all these games that we've been waiting for 10 years, like Final Fantasy 15 and freaking The Last Guardian and stuff. Just all these new exciting projects. And it's such a great time to be in the industry right now. I'm so excited for like what's going to happen. Like maybe you're right, like in 15 years, maybe it doesn't matter like what's going to happen. Like the time is now sort of thing. All right, cool. So now we're going to move on to our content call-outs, which we actually do every week. And we ask each of our panel members to just basically plug either an article or something from sifted.net, which they like and they want everyone else to check out. So we'll start off with our guest, of course. James, what is your content call-out for this week?
All right. So my content call-out is directed towards a member of the community that if you've spent any sort of amount of time in the comment section of any sort of controversial video or an article, you've probably run across Mr. Erebus Jones. He has started a new series on his blog on the site called My Pile of Shame. And in each entry, he has taken it upon himself to once and for all dive into his giant stack or proverbial stack of video games and just try them out for a little while and give a sort of a quick impression, and he then rates it whether or not he's going to just never play that game again, or, you know, he liked it and he's probably going to go back and play it, which is pretty cool. I mean, I think I can speak for all of us and say that, especially if you're a PC gamer, especially on Steam, you've got like 100
killers.
You've got like 100 games you've never even opened. So it's kind of cool to see somebody just sort of jump in there and just really sort of tackle this problem. It's like, we need to play our games. So yeah, and I want to call out Erebus because he's a valuable member of the Sifted community, despite our many disagreements we have with each other. But it's still cool to have him around and bounce stuff off of. So yeah, that's my pick.
All right, what about you, Evan? What's your pick for this week?
My call out is finally the streaming Game Face now on Twitch banner has been added to the Sifted homepage. In the past, if Game Face was live streaming on Twitch, you either needed to get a notification from Twitch or possibly from a tweet from Shane or from the GameFace Twitter handle. But now it'll be right on the homepage of Sifted. So luckily, last GameFace, I saw it and I was able to catch like the last hour of GameFace. So definitely a cool addition, much needed.
Cool. Yeah, and for my pick, I actually want to give a shout out to Sifted, the site in general. It sounds a bit weird, but like over the past sort of week, there's been a lot of discussion between the community of just, how can we help the community grow, and like things that Shane needs to do, like the price increases and all this sort of stuff. But sort of like the biggest thing that I can't hit home about the most is the share button. You really, really, like as a community, we really, really need to start sharing the site. And I don't just mean like in passing conversation, I mean physically sharing. Like if you're reading an article that is free to view on the site, like it's not a premium content thing, and you're really enjoying it, like, okay, I'm going to share this through Sifted. If you share that, like on your Facebook page or on your Twitter page or something, when someone clicks on it, it will show that article, but with sort of like within the Sifted ecosystem. So if they see that and they're like, oh, what is this Sifted? And they check on like the About Me, and then like it just opens it up, Like, so if everyone starts sharing their stuff, the site is going to grow astronomically, like way more important than price increases or more content or anything. That is the biggest thing that we can do as sort of Sifted users to help the site grow. So I urge everyone to just start sharing your stuff. Basically, I can't say it enough. But yeah, other than that, we have come to the end of our episode. Want to say thank you to James. Like, it's been really cool to have you on, man.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. This is fun.
Yeah, like if anyone else... Yeah, definitely. Like if anyone else wants to join in on the podcast, like all you have to do is message me on Sifted. I am Vin Hill. Like just send me a message and let me know what microphone you've got, and all you need is a decent internet connection. And that's pretty much it. And you can do exactly what James did today and come and join us on the site to talk about crap in the games industry for an hour and a half. So do you want to give out your Twitter handle and sort of your sign-off, James, to end the show?
Yes. You can find me on Sifted. My name is obligatory_boss_battle, obligatory boss battle. And my Twitter handle is OBossBattle because due to Twitter restrictions, you cannot put obligatory boss battle in there. It's just too big. My name is too large. So yeah, you can find me on there. I don't really tweet all that often, but every so often I'll throw something on there.
So yeah. How about you, Evan?
You can find me on Sifted as the Stand User, and same for Twitter and for Giant Bomb. If there's any Giant Bomb guys or gals out there, all the same, the Stand User. And
guys. So my Twitter handle is @VenHillArt. You can find me and some of my finger paintings on there from time to time. We're all on Sifted. Come and talk to us. Come and join in the conversation, and we will definitely check you in the next episode next week, either on Monday or Sunday, depending on your time zone and where you live. So for everyone here, I would like to say thank you, and we will catch you guys later.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.